So I'm using iOS 27 on my 16 Pro Max for the last 10 days now. I'll quickly run through you the battery life I was getting. And for our first beta, the battery life is quite good. Yes, compared to iOS 26.5 stable, it is slightly less stable, but we are comparing a stable build of iOS 26, that 2.5, to the iOS 27 first developer beta. I was expecting much less battery life from a first beta, but Apple did a good job here. On this day, I was traveling on train, and still the battery held up quite well. And the most infamous question, did it reduce my battery health? Because the update size was around 14 GB on my 16 Pro Max. So here is the result. And even I was surprised because by this cycle count number, around 200 plus, usually the battery health percentage drops by a 1 or 2. So I'm expecting around 250 cycles till it reduces by 1%. In my case, I guess I think I kinda got lucky. Coming to the performance and stability, it is quite smooth for now. Like, it does heat up at times, and when it does, oh, there is a bug, I'll talk about it a bit later. So as you can see, the fluidity is quite good. Honestly, it's actually better than iOS 26.5 stable in my opinion most of the time. Yes, when it heats up, the stutters remain for quite some time, so that is one thing. But again, for a first beta, it is far more stable than iOS 26's first beta. And here's, I think it's a bug that it is still showing indexing in progress. I don't think it takes around 10 days to index, because the system storage, I mean, the iOS is also taking around a 1.5 GB more, but the system data is around 2 GB more when I was using iOS 26 stable. But when I installed iOS 27 beta, it was around 24 GB the system data. So I think it has actually indexed by now, but it is still showing indexing in progress. That is still fine because overall it is buttery smooth most of the time. Like the performance, the heating. Yes, talking about the heating, it does heat up at times unusually, and when it does heat up again, it brings back the stutters at times. But what I do is I quickly either turn on low power mode, then turn it back off. Sometimes that fixes it. Or what I do is I press up, down, and then hold this volume button and then go back. I don't restart it. And that fixes the stutters for me. But again, it did for the different devices, it can differ. But so far, I think even for the older iPhones, it is running quite good. I read some Reddit posts as well, and most of the people mentioned that their experience in iOS 27 developer beta is actually better than iOS 26 stable versions. Talking about bugs, like in between I got a bug. As you can see, this is misaligned a bit, and also in the music app or in some UI elements, it's not replicating here. Let me see. Sometimes the blur is a bit off, but again, I know that it will be fixed because this is a first beta and I cannot judge the first beta based on some bugs. I cannot really find that blur. Okay, here it is. As you can see, the blur is a straight line. Usually it is not like that. But again, obviously it will be fixed. I'm sure it will be fixed in the later betas or the public betas. Okay, so coming to the question, should you install iOS 27 developer beta? I mean, you can, but I would still advise or suggest you to wait for the public beta. I think it will be released by a month. That would be far more stable, and still surprisingly, like, the first beta, usually people don't recommend it to install on your main device. But if you really want to experience it on this very moment, yes, you can actually go ahead and install it. But before you do, make sure you have a backup of your stable version of iOS. Let it be any iOS, for example, iOS 18 or 26 or whatever. But it should be stable version of iOS. Why am I saying this? Because I have actually lost some data when I was installing iOS 18 developer beta or something. I don't remember correctly. What happened was is that I was having stable version, but I installed the developer version directly. I tried to make a backup on it, and it did not restore properly, so I lost data. So in simple words, just make sure you have a stable iOS backup, so that just in case anything goes wrong, you can, at least you won't lose data, and you can still revert back to iOS 26. I think there are ways you can do that, but honestly, if you ask me if I want to go back to iOS 26.5, actually no. I mean, in my personal experience, most of the time it is running butter smooth, and this is the actual iOS 26 I think most people wanted. But again, that's fine. It happens. iOS finally is back, if I'm not mistaken. So far, at least in my experience, it is quite smooth. And this is the first beta we are talking about. This is not even the second developer beta or a public beta. So, okay, and one more thing, the screenshot bug. I mean, you there is a crop bug. So let me show you. So let's say I want to crop it till here. I hit save to photos. I go to photos, my library, and as you can see, it has not cropped. But there is a simple workaround. You can go to edit, go to crop, and you can easily crop it however you like. So it's not a annoying bug, but yeah, something to mention. Okay, so that's it from my side. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Peace.